What's going on, Knicks fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Knicks Latest. I am your host, Josh Rodriguez. Today is a huge day to be a Knicks fan. Before we get into it, though, I want to ask you to subscribe to this channel. We're trying to build a community here of Knicks fans. We're trying to build a whole community that wants to talk to each other, that wants to talk to me, that wants to interact. I want to take your comments. I want to make them a part of the show. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you drop a comment. Let me know what you think of Game 5 tonight in Boston. The Knicks up 3-1. Make sure you like the video. Follow me everywhere at Josh_Rodriguez_. We're going to have social media pages for this podcast soon. Don't worry, and you could follow then. We just started this channel. Just started. About a month old, maybe. A couple of weeks before the playoffs started. So, fantastic time to start. Golden age of Knicks basketball, looks like. We haven't seen anything like this since the 90s. Happy to be a part of it. Let's get to it, though. Knicks Celtics, Game 5, tonight in Boston. The Knicks have a chance to wrap this series up. Such huge underdogs to start. The fact that they can wrap this up in five is ridiculous. Would not have thought this ever. Even if you told me the Knicks were going to win this series, I'm like, well, it must have been in 7. It must have taken every single second for them to upset the Boston Celtics in a playoff series. They were such huge underdogs coming into this series that the fact that they're up 3-1 going to Boston right now to attempt to close out this series is remarkable in itself. All the credit in the world to our guys, to Tom Thibodeau, who might have been on the hot seat to start the series. We don't know. All of that is done. I don't want to hear anything about Tom. I mean, I was talking about Tom. I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, maybe? I don't know. Nah, not anymore. Not anymore. To preview this game, obviously the Celtics are without Jason Tatum. They're missing their guy. But that does not mean that this team doesn't have talent. It doesn't mean that this team cannot beat the New York Knicks, especially at home. You still got Jaylen Brown. You still got KP, Drew Holiday, Derek White. You still have a squad. Peyton Pritchard off the bench. And the philosophy doesn't change. The Knicks still have to figure out a way how to limit the Boston Celtics from shooting three-pointers, open threes, rhythm threes, because it doesn't matter that Tatum's not playing. They still have players over there who can put up points in a hurry. And if the Knicks aren't rotating, if they're not taking their defensive assignment seriously, that score can get run up very quickly. All right, the Knicks have lost games to the Celtics this year without their full squad. So this is not a gimme, Knicks fans. It is not guaranteed that the Knicks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals right now, and the Knicks have to look at it that way. And I hope that they are, and I'm sure that they are. I'm sure Tibbs has them ready and mentally prepared to go. First off, like I just said, priority number 1, preventing the 3. Guarding the pick and pop. Making sure that when the Celtics go mismatch hunting, you make it difficult for them. Force them into long twos, short twos. That's the most important priority right there. For me, you just come with energy. Jalen Brunson continues to pick up where he left off in the second half. Mikal Bridges playing with confidence, shooting the basketball. Karl-Anthony Towns getting into rhythm. I think it's very important that Tibbs starts off the game getting Towns into rhythm, getting the ball in the post. You know, he hasn't really lived at the three-point line this series. He's been punishing the Celtics down low, which I think he should continue to do. Let's get the ball to Cat. Let's get our other guys going. Let's get Cat going, OG, Mikal. If we can get that going like we did in Game 4, I think the Knicks can take this. I think that they can take this. Right now, you're going to have OG on Jaylen Brown instead of Jason Tatum, which means you're going to have Mikal maybe on Derek White. It gives the Knicks other options now. You know, you don't have to have your 2 best defenders on Tatum and Brown. You know, you kind of have the luxury now to maybe put Mikal somewhere else, maybe put OG somewhere else. Who knows? Whoever's going off at the time, you have the luxury now to move one of those guys over to the other guy. And to me, that's a huge advantage. You know, let's continue, you know, to make sure that Mitch gets the minutes that he's been getting during the minutes that during the times that he's been playing, right? We don't want any hack of Mitch going on. We don't want momentum swinging in the Boston Celtics' favor because they're hacking Mitch and Mitch is missing free throws. Tibbs, got to manage those. Deuce, let it fly, baby. Let it fly. You've been playing well as of late. Hope your confidence is back up. We're going to need some bench points. Now, for me personally, I wonder if Tibbs is starting to look at DeLon Wright for some playing time here. Cam Payne has been, honestly, after game one against the Pistons, he really hasn't done much off the bench. He hasn't really brought much or anything to the bench unit whatsoever. And I think DeLon Wright is someone who's better defensively, right? So you're not missing out on that. You're not going to lose a step defensively. And he's someone, if he's open, he could hit a three. It's not like he's offensively challenged. So for me, if I'm Tom Thibodeau and I'm watching what Cam Payne has been doing this series, he hasn't really been productive at all. If you're looking for a different spark off the bench, why not DeLon? That's something that I'm looking forward to. That's something that I think Tibbs should be looking forward to. Maybe switch up the rotation a little bit. I mean, this bench is so weak. That's probably my biggest concern going forward with this team, is that they're very heavy from the starting five position. If Deuce is not hitting his three, they're not getting any offensive production from the bench because Mitch doesn't score the basketball. He might catch a lob or two, but that's it. So for me, let's see if we can get the bench unit going just a little bit more. Precious has had some minutes here and there, but he's only spot, for foul trouble. I kind of want to see if DeLon can contribute to not just the defense, but maybe the offense, hitting open threes, things of that nature. Just need him to get like 5 to 8 points. We don't need him going crazy. But if I'm Tibbs, maybe I'm looking at that. And then, of course, Jalen Brunson. Need Jalen Brunson to be Superman, the guy that he was in the second half. If that Jalen Brunson can show up, not the Jalen Brunson that showed up in the first 3 quarters of game 1, not the Jalen Brunson that showed up in the first 3 quarters of game 2, or in game 3. The Jalen Brunson that showed up in the second half of game 4, if the Knicks can get that version of Jalen Brunson, I'm very confident they're going home with a victory and a 4-1 series win, which is, I still can't believe I'm saying that. Tatum injury or not, this team is up 3-1 going into game 5 in Boston, and it's remarkable to me. This is turning out to be possibly a very special season for our Knickerbockers. And if they do win, they're going to face the Indiana Pacers, who just knocked off the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I don't want to look too forward into the matchup. Just wanted to report this because, obviously, this would be our next opponent if the Knicks were to win. And this is a team that knocked out the Knicks last year in 7 games. To me, personally, it had a lot to do with the fact that like half of the Knicks rotation was missing. Now, give credit to the Indiana Pacers. They still won those games. And give credit to the Indiana Pacers because they have gotten better this year. They are a better version of themselves this year. It's not the same team they saw last year. So even if the Knicks win tonight, Game 5 in Boston, this next matchup is not going to be a cakewalk. I think some could even argue that the Pacers are still better than the Knicks, despite the fact that the Knicks are going to knock off the world champions. So, not a cakewalk here. Just wanted to give a shout out to the Indiana Pacers and wanted to preview what was next. But make sure you subscribe to the channel. I want to know what you think of Game 5. I want you to tell me what you think the X factor is. Who are you looking forward to having a big game? Who do you think is going to have a big game? Do the Knicks win? By how much? What's the score? Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment on all the videos. We're trying to build the community of Knicks fans here. All right? Let's do it. Big game. As you can tell, I'm good. I'm not overly hyped. I'm focused. I hope the Knicks bring the same energy. When I see you tomorrow, hopefully it's a show about the Knicks making the Eastern Conference Finals. See you then.